Welcome everybody to the 7th episode of the Four Roads Out of Warba podcast, featuring us, the Warbashop Quartet. I am Dudu, and with me tonight is a man who spent years only watching 54 inches of his 60-inch screen TV, Mr. Bob.
Hi.
How's it going? How was your week?
My week has been pretty busy. Work's been busy, a lot of overtime we're having to do there, so I'm getting a little burnt out. But I got a couple days here now of just having the days off, so looking forward to this. So thank you for asking, Dudu.
Well, hey, you're welcome. Is there anything else you'd like to say that comes to mind, or are you okay?
Oh, I'm sure I'll yap through the whole thing, so I'm good right now.
All right. Well, then next in the Warbashop Quartet is a fella whose guitar playing would be called Gucci by teenage slang today, Mr. Tippy Tater Gator. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good. How was your week?
A lot of the same as last week and the week before. So,
a lot of work.
Yeah, don't know much more than I did before.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Then we have a dude, who is the only person alive that Vix has ever tried to kill, Mr. Bort.
Howdy.
Remember you told me that you told your Aunt Laura you wouldn't put Vicks on your nose because it tried to kill you once?
Yeah, well, I tried another time here this weekend at the Tough Mudders, so.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I had to do it twice. Ugh.
A room full of Vicks?
Mm-hmm.
I can't use Vicks anymore because it reminds me of dead bodies. So that's where I use it sometimes.
Because you're young.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, anytime I smell Vicks now, I'm like, who died?
Well, how about you, Bart?
Yeah, rub it under your nose so it doesn't smell as bad. Tippy was looking at me like, what are you talking about?
Anything new, Bart, that you'd like to talk about? Bring up, how was your Tough Mudder?
The Tough Mudder was good. 21.4 miles, 35 kilometers. Got through it with one bruised rib, so my knee was giving me problems the day of, but that's doing good now. So that went well, and yeah, this has been just a nightmare week with my church has Bible school and kids sports camp back to back, so I've been running all over the place, and yeah, been a very, very crazy week.
Okay, all right.
How many obstacles did you end up completing on the Tough Mudder?
Well, the 15K laps, there were 30, and then so that would have been 60 plus 15 on the 5K lap, so 75. And I think I would have had about 5 penalties, I think, so I think I did 70.
Okay. Does penalties mean you weren't good enough to do them? I better not say anything because I didn't even run it, so I better not say anything.
Well, okay.
I take it back.
I did electroshock therapy once, and I took the penalty the other 2 times because it was right at the end, and I didn't feel like getting everything muddy right at the end of the lap. I got my butt kicked on the electric eel. I mean, zapped over and over and over again.
What's that one?
It's like electroshock therapy, where you get zapped by wires, only you're army crawling through water, and the wires are hanging over you. And I would just get on a spot where it hit me in the small of my back and just knocked the wind out of me. And by the time I get my wind back, I try to push forward, and the same one zapped me again. And I just got zapped and zapped and zapped. And I made the choice to skip that one the second time and take the penalty. Yeah, and a lot of them, I took penalties on a couple of them too, because the line of people got to be so long in the middle of the day, and I didn't realize that the people running the competitive heat could skip the line and go to the front. So I ended up taking penalties for obstacles I didn't really need to, but I didn't realize it.
Remember when we were going to the 2 laps at one time and we waited for like a half hour? And then like, no, you can just keep going. So by then we were all locked up and arthritic.
Yep.
Well, the only thing that I've ever done that can compare to your electric eel is one time when I was younger on the farm, I peed on an electric fence. Maybe, that was close. But
what about the time you got acid thrown in your eye as an obstacle?
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to dodge the acid and it didn't work.
Yeah, I wasn't shifty enough. This week. What?
Who threw acid at your face?
Oh, it wasn't. It was propane. It wasn't acid. It was. Yeah, we were company I used to work for. I was in charge of the dock, and I had a bunch of paperwork I had to get done. So they took one of the dispatchers, and guy come in all nicely dressed with his khakis and fancy sweaters and all this, and they asked him to go out and run a forklift and load a trailer, and of course, no, his butt from all around. So he goes out there, and I gave him a 5-minute course on how to run a forklift, and he comes back in and he goes, the forklift is out of gas. And I said, okay, well, there's a propane tank. I said, just unscrew the other ones and then screw the new one in and turn it over a few times and it should pop right off. So he goes out to the dock and he comes running back in about, a few minutes later. He's just freaking out. He said, the tank is leaking. The tank is leaking. So I go out there and the whole dock smells like propane. And I get over to the forklift, and here when he went to screw, this is like your barbecue grill, screw the hose on the nozzle for the propane. He got it in there so the propane could flow, but then he stripped it. He cross threaded it. Right. And and it was spurting out and everything. And so not thinking about anything, because I usually don't, I just grabbed a hold of it and I twisted it off. Well, it hit my finger and diverted right up into my eyeball. So yeah, that wasn't the bad part. The bad part was sitting in the ER with a lens in your eye, and then it had a hole in it, and there was a tube that for an hour and a half it dripped saline in your eyeball.
My eyes are watering thinking of that.
Yeah. But getting back to the podcast this week, I decided it would be fun to talk about the best gifts we were ever given. And then at the end of it, maybe if you have one gift that you're particularly proud of or you thought was funny that you gave to somebody, I'd like to hear about that too. So I think we'll go from 5 to 1, and we'll just go in order here. So, Bort, let me hear your number 5, if you could, please.
Okay, well, I did not rank them 5 to 1, but I'm just going to go oldest to newest because it makes the most sense for my stories. So, number 5, or the oldest one I got, was Christmas 1989. My parents, we were freshly divorced, but I think we still did a combined Christmas together that year. And they gave me 2 VHS tapes that I loved it so much. The first was Batman, 1989, the Tim Burton one, Michael Keaton. You know, bear in mind, I'm 6 years old, you know, watching this movie. And The Land Before Time VHS tape. They gave me these 2 movies on Christmas Eve. And I was so excited to watch them, but they said you have to go to bed and you can watch them tomorrow on Christmas. So I go to bed, you know, and I'm not excited about Santa Claus or anything like that. I'm excited to watch my Batman and Land Before Time. So I went to bed and I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I got up and I said, it's Christmas Day, so I fulfilled the requirements of sleep. And I managed to watch Batman and Land Before Time 2 times each before anybody else in the house had even woken up.
Nice.
And
nice.
that's just, you know, 2 of the hundreds of times I watched those 2 movies. So that would be my first one.
Land Before Time was with Sarah, right? Wasn't she the
Yep.
Triceratops.
Yep.
That was a very cute movie.
I remember when you did that, and then those were 2 movies that me and you watched thousands of times. Because back in the day, you didn't have Netflix or YouTube or anything. So yeah, we just keep watching them over and over and over. But I remember when you initially got those and how proud you were that you stayed up and watched them all morning on Christmas.
Did you get into
I didn't know you waited till 1 in the morning until Christmas. I didn't know that.
What was that, Bob?
I didn't know you waited until 1 in the morning and then say, well, it's Christmas, so I'm good now.
Well, I had to. They made me go to bed.
After midnight, yeah. You get into any of the other Land Before Times?
I saw the second one. Don't remember much of it, and no, I never watched any of the other ones because they're
frowning. Did you ever get into the Land Before Times, Tippy?
Oh, yes, I remember seeing it in the theater as a kid. And then, watched it many, many, many times.
Good.
Over and over again. In fact, I think I saw it again just a few years ago, actually.
Nice.
I remember I got a Sarah hand puppet from Pizza Hut.
We all did.
Yeah.
Well, that movie is so sad when the mom dies. It's like, oh, it's like one of the most tragic things ever.
And it was 100% the kid's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tippy, could you give me like a number 5 best gift you were ever given?
Yeah, like Bort, I didn't really consider putting them in any order, so I'll just look at my list and start at the bottom. So, I would have to say number 5 would be my camo-colored Crocs, because I bring them everywhere I go. They're so handy and practical, especially if you're staying in a camper, you know, and I also like to break them out, wear them on Sundays, you know. I'll just put on my dirty t-shirt, ripped jeans, my camel Crocs, and wear those all the way to Walmart.
Sweet.
You'd be the best dressed
Then they
person
kick you out
there.
too fancy.
Yep, exactly. I'm never lacking for fashion. So.
When did you get those?
Oh, I believe my folks got me those for Christmas one year. I don't remember which year, but I mean, they're getting kind of beat up now, so I'm guessing maybe 7-8 years ago.
Nice. Last year on my birthday, we were down in the cities, and Ma gave me money to go to Cabela's and get a pair. And I went in there and got camel Crocs, and I wear them every chance. I even wore them last winter. So, how about you, Bob? What would you consider to be your number 5?
So I tried to rank them. It was hard, but I think I got them ranked as best as I could. My number 5 is kind of more a general thing. I have kind of a love to wear Dan Marino jerseys. I've never watched football. I'm not a Dan Marino fan. I just like the jersey for some reason. So
You like Days
in
Ventura.
total of my life, What was that?
You liked Ace Ventura.
Yes, I did. So I've gotten a total of 4 Dan Marino jerseys given to me over my life. I have 3 of them yet. The first one my ma gave me, I think I was maybe 16. Or was that before that, Bort?
I don't think before that. I think that's pretty accurate.
Yep, and then I got another one senior year of high school given to me because I wore that one out. And then my senior year of high school, I wore just those 2 jerseys every day. And then my mom found me one at a garage sale probably 10 years ago that was a triple XL. And it wouldn't have fit me now, but then when we were down in Arizona this last week, my mom made the comment that, well, it might fit you now, Bob. And then my lovely bride just recently got me one for my birthday this last January. So now I got my 3 Dan Marino jerseys. I don't know where that triple XL one went, but yeah, it just, I've always worn the jerseys and I just, liked them.
I thought you were going to talk about that best jersey you ever got was that one of mine from high school.
Oh, you have that one back now, right?
Yeah. Jack wore it for a little bit, and then, but
yes. So for that one, when I got my first apartment, Dudu gave me that jersey and he signed it. It was his old football jersey from high school, and I hung it on my wall at my old apartment.
No, it doesn't fit. I'll tell you that. Before we go any further, I got to know, Bort, what was on your burrito?
Buffalo asada chicken, rice, the hot salsa, the corn, the tomatoes, cheese, and lettuce.
No sour cream?
No.
What are the last 2 things that you didn't put the before them, so I don't know what they are?
The cheese and the lettuce.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Well, mine, my aunt and uncle started getting into streaming services like Netflix and Amazon, and they were running it off of their laptop, and there were some issues. They didn't like it and stuff. So they told me that if I would take them to Target and help them pick out a smart TV that had all that built in, they would give me their old one. So I did that, and I hooked them up, and I ended up with a 50-inch flat screen TV. And then their son was home, and they were watching some movie, and he swore that he could hear a humming coming out of their soundbar. And so he went out and bought him a new one. And one day I was talking to my uncle, and he goes, "That's just sitting, around. If you think you can fix it, or if there's even a problem, you can take it." And I took it. And you using it today? Awesome. There's no problem.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I'd say that was my number 5. It's a good deal. But
Nice.
all right.
Is that the one you got right in your living room there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The remote wouldn't work, so I had to use the buttons for a while, and then the buttons quit working. So I got online, and there's 2 wires that go up to the board where the buttons are with Samsungs, and if you cut those wires or unplug them, then the remote will start working again. So took the back off, did that, and now the remote works, and everything's great.
You're such a genius.
Oh. All right, Bort. you got yourself like around a number 4?
This one's back from 1997. And I'll just say what it is first. My mother and stepdad gave me an original PlayStation, PlayStation 1 that year. And the funny story about that was Mom was frantically handing out presents on Christmas Eve to everyone. And I took one and I go, "Mom, is this one okay to open?" And she just looks at it quick and she's like, oh, yeah, that one's fine. And I open it up and it's a controller. This was before I got the PlayStation. So we kind of spoiled the PlayStation right away.
Nice. Nice.
I got the video game WCW versus the World with it. And soon after got Crash Bandicoot and Crash Bandicoot 2. And then the very first night, Bob and I wanted to play the PlayStation, even though we were leaving for Grand Rapids in the morning. And so we hooked it up and we're playing it. And then I packed the system up to go up to Dad's the next morning. And I get up there and so excited to unpack the system, and I forgot the power cord.
Oh.
So thankfully, my dad's an electrician, and he took a look at the hookup on the back of it. And he went and sliced an extension cord and stripped the wires and made the correct hookup to be able to run the PlayStation off just a generic extension cord that he had in the house. And
that still sounds like your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when he was done, or when I was done with it, he took the other end and he, spliced it all together and put some electrical tape around it, and he used that same cord for many years. But
Again sounds
Hmm?
That again sounds like Dad.
Yep. But yeah, that PlayStation was great. I used it for many, many years. Played a lot of great games. We were all into the wrestling games back in the day. That's where the LaFat picture, the big green guy with the blue singlet that goes on whenever Bob's camera doesn't work, that's from the game WWF Warzone. So we had a lot of memories of it, and it was a great system. And then eventually, Easter of 2009, we were playing it at my grandma's house, and we were all playing Tetris Plus. Tippy, me, Bob, and our cousins, and I had it sitting on the carpet of the floor in the bedroom there, and it overheated and blew up and quit working, and I was very sad.
When was that? 2009?
Easter of 1999.
Oh, I thought you said 2009.
Yep. No, 1999.
Cool.
Tragic.
Cool. Tragic. How about you, Tippy? Can I get your number 4-ish?
Yep. This would be, I think it was for Christmas 2 years ago, or it might have been 3. It was from my sister, and that is my Carhartt backpack. Now, like, travel items are very valuable to me since I travel 95% of the year, and this is just it's an amazing, stellar backpack. You can cram so much stuff in it, and it's like the perfect size if you take it on a plane. Even if it's full, it'll fit like right under the seat in front of you. And it's made with that good thick canvas material, so it's really sturdy. That thing should last me for about forever, I'm thinking. So
Cool.
Is it that light tan color?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I really value that thing. So
Excellent. Bob.
All right, my number 4. I think this was like by 2010. Me and Bort and my wife and we were all staying at my dad's place, and Bort had his PlayStation 3 up, and he decided that he was going to start playing some Batman Arkham Asylum. I haven't played it at that point. I hadn't played video games probably 5-6 years. So Bort's like, "Hey, give this a shot." So I started playing it, and I was hooked. And I played it, and I probably got about 4 or 5 hours into it, and then I go to bed. And then for 3-4 months, I wanted to play it, and I couldn't play it. So then finally, my lovely wife bought me a PlayStation 3 with the Batman Arkham Asylum. So, probably because she was sick of hearing me complain, but oh well. So she got that, and I was very happy with that. And I played that thing, the PlayStation 3, until it finally stopped working, I think, in 2014 or 15. It stopped spinning the disc and all that. But that was a good gift.
Is that why you married her?
Yeah, I knew. I slipped it in the vows.
Okay.
I'm like, you'll buy me a PlayStation. So I did that. But yes. All right.
Remember that I Love Lucy episode with the actor that was staring at Lucy?
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Well, my number 4 is every Saturday for about the last year, I've been going over to my mom's apartment complex and calling bingo for the residents there. And 2 of them this January went together and gifted me a authentic Green Bay Packers Aaron Rodgers jersey. So that was special. That was pretty neat. They're older couple, and yeah, he kind of reminds me of Grandpa a little bit, and tells jokes all the time. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I wore it a few times, and of course they're all Vikings fans, so I get to rub that in. But all right, Mr. Bort, your turn again. Number 3, if you could.
That one quick. So this one, so I got my PlayStation 2 after I graduated high school. When you have the graduation party and everybody comes over, they give you money and stuff, and then you write cards and you're like, oh, thank you so much. I'm going to take this money and use it for college. Well, I did that, and then I went and bought a PlayStation 2. So I loved my PlayStation 2. That's one. I mean, between the PlayStation 2 or 3, those are my 2 favorite consoles of all time. And I used that thing a lot. And finally, in August of 2004, after or I guess it was 2001 that I got it. So after 3 years of really hard use, it was wearing out, and I had to flip it over to actually get the discs to read, and it was really a fight to get to use it. And by about August, it was of 2004, it was about done, and I really couldn't use it anymore. Around the same time, Bob had shown interest in some of my PlayStation games. I can't remember what. And right around then, Dad asked, what Bob might want for Christmas. And I said, well, he's shown a little interest in this PlayStation 2 I've got. And they just released a smaller model of it. And Dad was like, oh, okay, very interesting. And so he goes, I think I'm going to get that for Bob for Christmas. And I was like, oh, that's great. As my PlayStation's dying, or pretty much dead at this point.
I thought you had.
And unbeknownst to me, I think Dad did the same thing with Bob to ask him what I needed. And Bob said, well, he needs a PlayStation 2 as well. And anyways, so Christmas Day comes and Bob opens up the PlayStation 2 and is, I'm very, very happy for him. And, that I thought it was so cool, that he got one. And then I opened my present after and opened a PlayStation 2, and it was just like completely not on my radar. Dad caught me completely off guard with that, and yeah, I was completely shocked. And that was December 2004. I got many years out of it. That console's still sitting hooked up to my TV downstairs. It's only now just starting to have a few disc read issues, but for nearly 20 years, this has been a great system or console for me. And yeah, truly a shocking moment too, was getting it for that Christmas. And then my other favorite part of the story is, hey, Bob, what happened to your PlayStation 2?
Oh, I lost it during one of my moves.
Funny. Tippy, do you have a number 3-ish, I guess?
I think I do. I can't remember if it was the summer after 3rd grade or 4th grade, but I was at summer camp for a week, and I got a letter from Mom saying she had a surprise for me when I got home. And when I got home, it turns out that my folks had built me my own bedroom in the basement. Now, at the time, only the walls were framed in just the corner of the concrete basement at the time. Now it's fully finished, but at the time it wasn't. And you just had sheets kind of draped over the wall framing to make the walls, and then had a big area rug on the concrete floor. Their old 13-inch black and white TV set up with my Nintendo hooked up to it, and it was freaking so cool, because it's finally got my own room, and then yeah, and then I must have been in 3rd grade or something, because I remember I got scared the first night down there because it's just kind of a concrete basement, But
It was a long ways down there, and you were kind of really separated from the rest of your family.
Yeah, it's literally in the back corner of the basement. Funny thing is, it's still my room today. Only difference is I own the house now. So
You haven't moved upstairs?
no, I got everything situated down there. It's just fine.
Is that the one that your guitar videos are in?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay.
When I'm at home, that's where I dwell and record.
Nice. Bob.
Oh wow, that was quick. Yep. So my next one is when I was, I want to say 13. We were up at my dad's place for Christmas morning.
Okay.
I got a nice little.
Yeah.
So I got a little box like this, and I opened it up, like a psycho, just, you got to do that for presents. And it was a little key, and I just looked at it, and I'm like, and I didn't know what to think. So then finally, he walked me outside into our garage, and he had bought me a snowmobile. So that was really cool, because that's when we started getting really into snowmobiling. He had a bunch of older snowmobiles that down at the farm in Warba that he had gotten working, but the one that he was trying to get working for me wouldn't work. So then he ended up finding a used one that he got me, a Yamaha Enticer, a 250, 1980. Yeah, that was a fun snowmobile. We did a lot of riding around on that thing, riding out to our aunts out on Pekegama Lake out there. It was a good time. I was very surprised that I got the whole snowmobile to myself.
That sounds better than his snowmobile he got for Christmas.
I think you need to tell that story.
He was just for sure he was getting a snowmobile. His oldest sister was all day long. You're getting a snowmobile in the morning. So he was just beyond excited. And he gets up the next morning and he's looking outside the windows of the trailer and looking for this sled sitting out there, and there's nothing. And here comes time to open the gifts underneath the tree, and here's a little model snowmobile. It was a real one.
He still has that thing too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, funny. Well, my number 3-ish. 1 year for Christmas. 1 year for Christmas. I was, I must have been around 30, and we were having Christmas at Grandma Grandpa's, and there's a big box there, and it had my name on it, and I'm like, too old for big boxes for Christmas, that usually still went to Bort and Bob, and yeah, so Christmas morning come, and my awesome mother had gotten me a 32-inch flat screen TV, and it just floored me. I didn't know what to say, and it was a good TV. I used that one a lot. In fact, I used it with my number one story that I'll get to in a while, but I used that TV for years and years and years. And it was pretty neat when I got this 50-inch. I was able to gift it to a buddy of mine's folks who still watch it today. And it was just a really, really neat gift.
Nice.
So, yeah. Mr. Bort, your turn again, sir.
So I'm sure you're getting the theme here, but my next one is from August to 2007, and that's a PlayStation 3. This one again completely shocked me. I was driving back from a trip from Grand Rapids, and my fiance at the time had surprised me with, she said, come on over, and she surprised me with the PlayStation 3 as a wedding present. And, that thing was the original model, original $600 price back in 2007. And, that was so expensive, I didn't know when I'd ever be able to afford one. I mean, that PS3 was just so overpriced, but yeah, it was a truly shocking present, and even though the marriage didn't work out, I'm still very thankful for the present.
Nice. Tibby.
Okay. I think it would have to be, might have been around 1991. I think this was my grandma or maybe it was 92. Yeah, I think it was 92. My grandma on my dad's side was visiting for a weekend or a few days or whatever, and she had a present for me. And that was my very first Swiss Army knife. Now, this one, it was the little one. I was a little guy at the time. It was only about maybe 3 inches long. It's black. It had the little knife, file, and the scissors, and then the toothpick and tweezers that stick in there. Those have since been lost at the time. But I was rummaging through my old stuff recently, getting everything I own organized, and I found that I still had that. So I got that kind of displayed on my shelf downstairs. And also note too, of course I cut myself on it with it the very first day I owned it. And I think it was a year later, my grandma got me another Swiss Army knife, but this was bigger. This one had like 5 tools on it, or maybe like 7 tools, and it was about maybe 1.5 inches longer. And I distinctly remember cutting myself with that knife too. Those things are really sharp.
My dad gave me a knife in 2008, and yeah, I cut myself on it the first night too.
A couple weekends ago when my cousin Bort came up there, we had a couple watermelons to cut up, and I used his dad's girlfriend's big kitchen knife. There was a crack out of the top of the knife, and I put it in the watermelon, and the juices made my hand slip. And yeah, I cut my hand on the top of a knife. Try that one.
Oh wow, man! You do things. You do things a little different, don't you?
That's right, but it was good watermelon, wasn't it, Bort?
Yeah, no wonder. I didn't realize that it had human blood in it. No wonder it's so tasty.
Well, yeah, adds to the flavor. Bob, what you got for us?
All right. So my last two are actually really strongly associated with Tippy. So since our first podcast, I'm a kind of a huge Metallica fan, and that's all Tippy started me on that. We were younger. He's a couple years older than me, and I always looked up to him and to Bort on that side because we were always so close doing. And Tippy got into Metallica, and he would always talk about Metallica, blah blah blah. And for our Secret Santa for Christmas when we were younger, we'd always draw names for all the grandkids and cousins, and we'd each get somebody a present. And I think I was in 7th grade, and he got me Ride the Lightning. And that was the start of my metal career. Because though I had one Metallica album before that, it was a Black album. And he said something effective. He had to get me a real Metallica album, so he got me Ride the Lightning. And that was the start of just my lifelong love for heavy metal music. So
Nice.
Thank you, Tippy.
Yep, indeed. I remember getting that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did he wrap it?
Yeah.
How on a 1 to 10 scale, how well was his wrapping?
Oh, I didn't see. I didn't even at it. No, it was my
That's
friend.
probably before I started wrapping everything with newspaper.
Nice. Nice. All right, for my number 2, Fort there has a ungodly ability to remember dates and times, and I can't do that. I'm old, my brain don't work, but I do remember this. December 14th. Oh crap. December 14th, 1998. I was sitting on a bulldozer. It was cold, and I was stripping black dirt at this house that we were going to dig the basement for in Hudson, Wisconsin. And my boss shows up in his pickup, so I shut the dozer down and jump in his pickup. We go have lunch, and he brings me back out to the dozer then, and he goes, "Here you go." He goes, "You did a great job this year. I want you to have these." I opened it up, and there was 2 Green Bay Packer tickets for December 18th. They were playing the old Houston Oilers in Lambeau. Oh, I was just in cloud 9. So I asked my brother-in-law to go with me, and that Saturday morning, which would have been the 17th, I went over to pick him up, and he was helping his wife feed their horses. And so I went down and I was helping him stuff. So our plan was to leave early enough that we could go to the Hall of Fame at Lambeau. And they start walking up towards the house, and I follow them. Well, I forgot to shut the gate, and all 3 horses got out. So we had to go chase them down, put them back in. So that put us back later, and we took off, and we got there with like 45 minutes to spare, so we were able to go through there. And then that night we went right across from the stadium. There's a bar and grill type place. It's called Stadium View Bar, and we went in there and we had steak dinner. And that night we partaked in quite a few adult beverages, and we were staying at this little rinky-dink motel, hole in the wall, park in front of the room, go in the door, take a shower, go to bed, get up the next morning, and I was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear from my brother-in-law, "Good God, man, what did we do?" So I come out and I said, "What?" And he goes, "Just hurry up and get out of there." So as we were leaving the parking lot, I looked, and the cleaning lady was opening the door to our room, and she went in, took a step in, turned around, went back out, and locked the door. Well, evidently we were producing quite a bit of methane, and it was nasty in there. It was bad. It was horrible.
Wow.
Yeah. We went to Lambeau. It was perfect, snowy, wintry day. There's no backrest in the seats in Lambeau, so the person behind me spilled their beer on my back, and then I ended up with like 3 free ones. I mean, it was just a lot of fun, yelling, screaming, and snowing. And then the way home, it was like a 4-hour trip and iced up roads the whole way. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I'll never forget that. So, number 1s, best gifts we've ever received. I would like Mr. Bort to go first.
And you're going to be shocked when I say PlayStation 4.
What? What?
Like I said, this was an easy list. I mean, I love my video games. My kids and ex-wife gave me a PlayStation 4 for Christmas, and in 2015, they gave it to me the day before Thanksgiving of that year, just to kind of keep me off guard from expecting it. So I got it a little before Christmas that year. And so, yeah, that console, I mean, you know, I went through 2 PS1s, 2 PS2s, 4 PlayStation 3s, but that PS4 is still running, and it's right now in Dudu's house since I got the PlayStation 5. So, because, well, his PS4's quit working. But yeah, that has been an incredibly dependable machine, considering the thousands of hours I put into it over the years. Yeah, but yeah, so my kids and ex-wife surprised me with that, and that was really cool.
It's although it's a great gift, it's not my number one, but yeah, it was very nice of you to lend me that. Thank you. Tippy, what you got, sir?
For Christmas 1989, I got my first Nintendo Entertainment System. And it was the good one, too. It had the light gun and the power pad and the 3-in-1 cart with Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet. And yeah, there's so many hours growing up enjoying that. And it was always a big deal on the weekends to go to the video store and rent a Nintendo game. That's where I played all the classics for the first times, you know, the Bubble Bobble, the Mega Mans, whatnot, you know. So
Nice.
I don't know where it's at now, but I've acquired several other systems since then. I got 2 original Nintendos. Well, I originally had 4. I'd gotten a real sweetheart deal of a package. It came with like 4 systems and 120 games for an excruciatingly cheap price. And gave one of those to a buddy of mine, built a guitar out of another one, and then kept the 2 systems, and those actually still run too. So, and then I've got probably at least 5 clone systems I can play on. But, yeah.
Wow.
Does that Nintendo you built your guitar out of, does it still work? That Nintendo you built the guitar out of, does it actually work still as a system?
Oh no! Yeah, I had to completely gut it out and use that space inside. You know, as a block. I had to put a block of wood in there to mount the neck to. You know, otherwise it just wouldn't work putting a neck on a plastic box.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you still have that?
The what?
The guitar?
The Nintendo. Oh yeah, it's back on my arm right now.
What is
Oh, go ahead, dude.
Oh, I was just wondering how it would sound if, say, like Bad Seed or something was played on it.
Oh.
No, I get busy. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Well, what I was going to say is it's sad, and I feel bad for kids these generations that won't get to experience what Tippy was talking about, that excitement of the weekend going to the video store and either renting a game or renting some old VHS movies and bringing them home and watching them 10 times before you have to return them. Kids don't do that anymore because everything's just right there. And it's kind of sad because that was just a fun little family thing that you do for the weekends, and it's not around anymore.
Unless you ended up owing Blockbuster like $100 in late fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you just change your name.
Yep. Get a new membership.
Yep.
All right, Bob. How about you? What you got for us?
All right. Well, this one was easy when the idea of the gift thing came up. I knew right away what it was. My mom got me a guitar when I was in 10th grade, and it all kind of started with my love for Metallica that Tippy had started back in 3 years prior. So my mom got me a guitar, got Bort a bass guitar, and then Tippy, he played guitar already. So what was so fun about that year was we all brought our stuff up north to Warba, and how our Christmases would work with me and Bort. We would do my dad's side, so Doo-Doo and all them first, and then they'd bring us over to my other side, my mom's side, and that's with Tippy. So we would always get at our grandma's place, and all the grandkids would just go into the basement. Well, they would yell at us before because we'd be so loud, but I could not imagine the sound that came out of that basement when we plugged our music in and just started not knowing what we're. I think Tippy was the only one that actually knew how to play a chord. So the awful sounds that must have been coming from that basement. But it was so fun. It was so cool just knowing I had a guitar. And I still have that exact same. I got that guitar, it's been 20 some years almost. And 22 years, still got it. Play it once in a while. My wife gifted me a newer guitar about 10 years ago. So that's the one I play now. But that original one that my mom and stepdad got me was just something special. And I'll never forget. That's by far the best gift I ever got.
Excellent. Well, my best gift that I have ever received shocked the crap out of me. I've had 2 open heart surgeries, and the first one was, I'm not sure, 7-8 years ago, and it was tough to recover from. I was in a really bad spot in my head. There's no money. It was just, I was in a really bad place in my head. I mean, one day, Bort called me up, said, "Hey, why don't you meet me at Buffalo Wild Wings in the town down there where they live in the cities." And I'm like, "Dude, I'd love to, but there's no money for gas and stuff." And it's just in a really bad spot. And he's like, "Don't worry about it." He said, "I got you covered. I'll give you some gas money." So I said, "All right, cool." So I drove from Wisconsin to the cities to meet him. And our whole family, whenever we see each other, our hugs, we give each other a hug. Well, he never got up from his chair. And I thought, well, that was a little odd. But I sat down and he was real still and didn't move much. And he said, "Well, Bob's going to join us too." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we were just shooting the crap, talking, and pretty soon Bob shows up, and no hug, no nothing. And he sits down next to Bart, and this is one hell of a cool gift. Bart kind of puts his hand between his legs, and Bob goes, "Dude, we know that you've had some issues and things are really a bad time for you, with health and work and stuff." He goes, "So me and Bart wanted to gift you this." And Bart pulled his hand up from between his legs, and there was a PS3. And dude, it still gives me the chills. I mean, it was a very, very cool, and I believe it was Skyrim too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think there is a few tears, and it still kind of gets me today. That's the best gift. It was so thoughtful and well, I mean, what else would you expect from those two? But it was it was really cool. So thanks again.
Well, hey, Bort, did that 7-year-old that we beat up ever find out that we took it from him?
No, we cussed him really good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad you said PS3 when you finished your story off. I was getting a little nervous there for a second.
Well, Why is that?
Just from the way you were telling the story.
Oh, yeah, it was really cool. That was a day I'll never forget. So, thank you, gentlemen. That was interesting. It's neat to hear, and I think some of the best gifts you're ever given are the memories that go with them too. So that's most cool. All right, final question. Anybody can go. It don't matter. Funniest gifts you've ever given somebody. We'll just go in order. Bart, you got anything for me?
Okay, I got a couple of them. First, that we had a white elephant gift exchange in 2008, and we had this. So for my present, my ex and I, we packaged together two things. We had gotten this horrible clock. It was red marble, but then it was a picture of the Last Supper behind the clock face. We just called it the Jesus clock. And that became a long-running joke in our family for many, many years. But we packaged that with, let me see if I can do this. I can't do this exactly because I just got to share my screensaver. But it was a picture of this. Framed 8x10 of my stepdad getting caught making a very embarrassing face. And people couldn't give that thing away fast enough.
I still have it.
Yep, Bob has the original print. I have it as every single screensaver on every single computer I have. Including my work ones. I flat out said when we go back into the office, I've told my bosses I will not change this. When my stepdad comes up to visit, I make sure that I have all the computer monitors set to not go to sleep. And yeah, that's
Looks
that's
like
one. I think I'm back on now, but that's one. That was a very classic year where my stepdad at one point took the picture of himself and the Jesus clock in the gift exchange because he didn't want anybody else to have it. And then Bob, meanwhile, is like, no, you're not, and took it. It was quite the hot item between people who didn't want it and people who did want it. And then we mentioned the skateboard, I believe, last episode, where I gave my sister-in-law a skateboard for Christmas and played it off as totally serious. She returned it, the intent was she could return it for a gift card to Kohl's, which she likes. But that was classic. And then my other one that I do want to mention, though, is Tippy. Do you remember the year that I gave you Final Fantasy VII?
Can I tell the story? Because this is what I was going to tell.
Okay, go right ahead then.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you kind of caught me off guard with this question at the beginning because I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I wanted to mention a gift that I received, and it wasn't the gift itself, but how it was presented. It was 1998, right?
Might have been 99 even.
It was either 98 or 99. But yeah, Bort got me a copy of Final Fantasy VII, which in itself is good enough. But then he thought it would be hilarious to wrap it in 17 layers of duct tape and watch me struggle to open it. And we actually have a picture in one of the photo albums back home of me sitting on the couch. I think Bob is sitting right next to me giggling, and I'm going like this, and you're sitting at like on the top of Grandma's couch just having a great old time.
Oh, funny.
I might have did too well. I remember you were pretty cranky for a while after that.
Well, he's wanting to play his game. He's having to open surgery on it.
The duct tape didn't hurt the case, did it?
No, I wrapped it with regular wrapping paper first, and then started
Oh,
to tape over it,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh,
and then wrapped
you
the
and the
tape
cakes.
one more time with wrapping.
Cool. Cool. Nice job. How about you, Bob?
So the best, I guarantee I know the best gay gift I've ever given. So my grandma and my grandpa were married for however many years. This is me and Tippy and Borit's grandma. So they were married. My grandpa, he passed away in 1997. And my grandmother remarried. Nice gentleman. But there was a story that happened that my mom gags when she tells it. So he was shuffling across his kitchen or his living room one day, and his, I guess his toenail sagged on the ground, and he fell and his toenail got ripped off. And that part there was kind of, but my mom, every time she tells a story, she would throw up because she's got such a weak stomach. So my beautiful bride decided to work with that. So we went to, I think it was Walgreens, and got some acrylic fake toenails, and we got a ring case. You know, you give somebody, oh, you're married, oh, welcome, will you marry me, type of thing. So we got one of those, like we were gonna give her something beautiful. So we put the toenail in the wing thing, and we scuffed it up a bunch so it looked all rough. Cut a little slit in there, and then we took a carpet fiber and slid it into the toenail. So we wrapped it up, gave it to my mom, and she opens it up, sees this beautiful case, goes, oh, what did you get me? Opens it up, and then there's a toenail. She, oh! So I got a picture somewhere buried of her opening it right when she sees it, just, oh, her face like that.
Oh,
So
Did the original toenail get saved at some point?
I don't think so. No,
Oh, okay.
I don't think it did. I mean, I think it was one of those.
That?
What was that?
Who would save it?
I don't know, but whenever the toenail would get passed around in like a white elephant or something, I was under the impression it was the original toenail. Whenever I heard that story. Nope. Okay.
No.
Thank
No,
God.
wait. No, dude, I'm not that messed up. But I did have to write a note on there, because if my mom thought it was the real one, she would have thrown up. So I did have to write a note on the outside, this is not real. And so when she opened it up, she saw that. Because if she would have thought it was a real one, she would have thrown up everywhere. What about you, Doodoo?
I was dating a girl. I was a secretary for one of the trucking companies I drove for, and she absolutely hated feet. Could not stand them. So her birthday was coming around. So for like a month, I deliberately did not wash any of my socks, and I just kept wearing them until they stunk really good. And I put them in a box, wrapped it up all pretty, got her some roses, and yeah, I gave it to her. She up and left. It took while we were out at a restaurant. I gave it to her. She up and left and wouldn't come back in. And yeah, I didn't make any points that birthday.
Well, I'm sure all the other people in the restaurant loved the gift as well, right?
It wasn't that bad. But yeah.
Trying to eat your cheesesteak, and you're like, oh.
I laugh.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you, gentlemen. This has been fun.
Could you tell the story of the item that we got for our grandfather one Christmas that he loved so dearly?
We, for a while, me and Bob and Bort, we would go together and get our grandfather Christmas presents, and I don't remember who came up with the idea, but we got him a deer head. That one.
Yep.
Jason? Okay.
You know, dearly.
We got him a deer head, and it was like a perfect mount, you know, and it had the horns and everything, and he hung it up, and he'd hang his hat up on the mounts or up on the antlers, and it was just perfect. But this deer head, it would the neck would actuate and the mouth would actuate, and pre-recorded voice would sing and stuff, or you could it came with a microphone and you could talk into it, and mouth would open and your voice would go through it. Well, that's all good and stuff, but Grandpa was not how do you say that? Not real
Technological.
No, not real practiced with a microphone. So he would, instead of holding it down here, he would like shove it in his mouth, and like instead of "Hey, how you doing?" it would go "Ha, ha, ha," and it was just the coolest thing ever. Yeah,
And I still have that in my garage.
you got to put that.
Yeah. What was that?
I didn't know you had that yet.
Yeah, I got it in my garage.
I always
I'm
loved when you would get a new visitor over and you would surprise them with the deer talking to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you and your ma got him that big mouth Billy Bass that one year too.
Oh, you love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grandpa, anything that talked or had lights, he was into it. Especially, I believe it was your youngest, Bort, when she came up. There's that ball that when you threw it on the ground or whatever, it would start lighting up.
Oh, yeah.
And oh yeah, he would throw that back and forth to your youngest and just smiling. But good old Grandpa. So thank you again, gentlemen, for doing this with me this week. And Tippy, I believe it's yours next weekend. Or next week. So do you have anything you care to say about it?
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to do your personal mixtape. Now, let's see. So, if today you could put any 10 songs on a mixtape, what would you put on there?
Oh.
It could be like all-time favorites, what you're currently listening to. I mean, just no rules of what goes on there. You know, just put on there whatever you want. Top 10 mixtape.
Okay. That's going to be fun.
Yes. That'll be a very challenging but fun one to do.
And it's only 10 songs, right?
I think we'll limit it to 10.
Can you have special mentions?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, cool.
I will have 600 special mentions. And
all right.
Sweet.
Well, excellent. Yeah, on behalf of myself, Dudu, and Bort, and Bob, and Mr. Tippy, I would like to thank you all for watching this week, and hope to see you next week. Thanks a lot.
bye.
Better.